So this brings us to our last session, and this is going to be a little, this is going to be our lightning round. We're going to have several people who are working one way or another to safeguard democracy and the rule of law. They're going to stand up and they get 2.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes to introduce themselves, tell you what they're doing, and ways that you also can get involved. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
2.5 minutes.
Look at that. Okay, 2.5 minutes, they say. Okay, hi, everyone. Good evening. Hi. My name is Saira Draper. I am a state representative in the Georgia General Assembly. I represent House District 90 in Atlanta. So, woo, yes, we got some constituents. So neighborhoods like Candler Park, Lake Claire, East Atlanta, Edgewood, we got some Druid Hills, some Virginia Highlands, some Morningside, also unincorporated South Dekalb. So Gresham Park, Conley, Ellenwood, parts of Panthersville. So fabulous district. And apart from being a representative, I'm an attorney, and specifically I'm an elections and voting rights attorney. And I ran for office because I thought it was really critical, especially in this time now, that we had somebody in the Georgia General Assembly who knew voting rights and elections backwards and forwards. Because after all, the Georgia General Assembly is where we make the laws about elections and voting here in Georgia, despite what some of the people on the state election board might tell you. It's actually the Georgia General Assembly where we make those laws about elections and voting rights. Before I did the work in the Georgia General Assembly, I worked for the Democratic Party. I ran the voter protection program at the party in 2020 for Biden's campaign here in Georgia, and also in 2021 for Ossoff and Warnock's runoff race here in Georgia. So have been very immersed in these issues for a very long time. And as I was thinking about what I was going to say to you all tonight in my 2.5 minutes, I was thinking about the context that college students in particular and young people in particular might have as we go into this historic moment in time. Because, you know, for folks who have been around a while, I think it's really clear that what we are experiencing is so unique. It's not normal. It's not normal. This is a very strange time in our nation's history. But, you know, if you don't have that longevity, if you don't have that comparison, you may not realize that this is not how it all has always been. And I think it's important to keep into account, you know, not only is it not normal on the national level. You know, we have a person at the top of the ticket who cannot admit that he lost the election in 2020. You know, we have a person at the top of the ticket who doesn't understand why it's bad to incite a riot on the Capitol for the purpose of supplanting his judgment and his will for the will of the people, right? We're talking about a fundamental tenet of democracy. So that's happening on the one hand. But what I think is really interesting is the overlay of that, what's happening on the national level and what's happening here in Georgia. Sorry, I'm coming in spicy with the politics. I don't know if you didn't want to put me in first, but coming in spicy with the politics because what's happening on the Georgia level, on the state level, is something kind of unique too. Since 2004, 2005, we've had a Republican trifecta here in Georgia, which means Republicans have controlled the Senate, the House, the governor's mansion, all the appointments, right? And so all the policy that has moved forward for the last 20 years has been through the Republican side, but that is coming to an end, right? So when you look at the demographic shifts here in Georgia, when you look at the forecasts, when you see who's moving here, their ages, the demographics, it is very clear that is coming to an end. So and that happens to manifest when we're talking about the struggle for political power. A lot of times that manifests in election policy. And so there's a lot of competing interests, I think, when we're talking about election policy here in Georgia. And you have to look beyond what politicians and talking heads are saying and look at the impacts of the policy. Because sometimes they say it's happening for one reason when there's actually several motivations behind the policies that we're passing.
Thank you, Saira.
All right, that was my 2.5 minutes. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bryan Tyson. I'm a lawyer with the law firm of Clark Hill, formerly with the Election Law Group, and I do election litigation day in and day out. So if it's about absentee ballots, election administration, redistricting, anything like that, that's what I do in my law practice in defending and representing folks in that space. Now, what I'm here today for, though, is not in that role. I'm here today as part of a group called Right Count. And Right Count, unlike Representative Draper, has worked in Democratic politics. I've worked in Republican politics for close to 20 years. And what we saw after the 2018 election in Georgia was a lot of loss of confidence among folks on the left because of concerns about widespread voter suppression. Then after 2020, we saw a lot of confidence lost in the election system from folks on the right because of their concerns about widespread voter fraud. And so Right Count exists, and our goal is to get people into the space, a lot of the things you heard the first panel talk about of how we do elections in Georgia, all the pre-election testing that happens, the things that happen on election day, the post-election auditing that we do to help people understand, regardless of your political views, you can have confidence about the election results in Georgia. So Right Count's goal is primarily to recruit and help people find trusted voices locally that they're willing to listen to help folks on the right say, hey, you can trust our election system here. We trust it, it works well, it gets the results that it needs to. And so we do that. We also file amicus briefs in other cases when cases are going on to try to express issues and help people build confidence there. But at the end of the day, as Americans, we all have to have confidence in our election system. We're proud of our election system in Georgia. It works great, and we're trying to make sure we promote that across the political spectrum, but particularly folks on the right. So that's what we do at Right Count.
Hello, everyone. My name is Evan Malbrough. I am an associate at the Shorenstein Center for Media and Policy. What we do at the Shorenstein Center is we help create tools to better help you navigate the election system as well as protect you as voters. So for this election, we have launched a program called Vote Flare. So vote, V-O-T-E, and flare, F-L-A-R-E. What Vote Flare does is if you sign up on our website, what it will do is it will send you a text message if anything in your voter registration status has changed, right? So if you've been cleaned from the voter rolls, if your address has been changed, gender, name, or anything that has appears on your voter registration, if any of those things have been changed, what Vote Flare will do is directly text you or email you with whatever phone number or email you sign up for the program with. It's completely free of charge, it protects your data, and it's an easy way for you to have security to know that if there ever is an issue, that you would actually be able to fix that very quickly. Luckily, Georgia has an online voter registration system. We have a lot of access to our Secretary of State's office, so if there is an issue, you should be able to alleviate that issue very quickly. So as I said before, Vote Flare, V-O-T-E, F-L-A-R-E, and that's my piece.
I don't think he said it, but you didn't say it, did you? Evan's one of our proud Georgia State graduates. And yeah, my favorite, yeah.
Hi, my name is Sharyn Dowd, and I'm representing Braver Angels. Our website is easy to find, braverangels.org. We're a nonprofit, and we're actually making a difference in the polarization that we've all been talking about to here, because we bring conservatives, liberals, independents together and talk about political issues in a safe environment. We have very well-trained moderators and debate chairs who make sure that no matter what your opinion is, you get treated with respect and you get a chance to say what you really think. We also have training programs. If you're worried about going home for Thanksgiving because of politics, we have a workshop called Families and Politics. It's available online. There'll be several more this fall. Everything we do is free, absolutely free, no charge for anything we do. We'll come, I have cards here, and also at the table. We will come to your book club, home, civic club, class. We'll come anywhere that you'll give us 10 to 20 minutes, and we will explain what we do and give you information. So get in touch with us. The name, we used to be, when we first got started in 2016, we were called Better Angels. But then it turned out that somebody, oh, that's from Lincoln's first inaugural address. The better angels of our nature will help us to avoid civil war. Didn't work. But we found out that there was another nonprofit that had that name, so we had to switch. And it was good because we figured it's going to take a lot of courage for people who disagree to be honest with each other and not be nasty. Takes a lot of courage, but it can be done. And so we invite you to get in touch with us. Thanks very much.
Hi, my name is Rachel Lastinger, and I'm the Associate Director of the Voter Access Project with the ACLU of Georgia. The Voter Access Project works to ensure that all voters have easy and equal access to the ballot. We do this through a lot of initiatives, including election board monitoring, policy guidance, and monitoring our electoral process. There's a number of ways for you guys to get involved. If you're an elections nerd, like some of us who are up here speaking today, and just really want to learn more about elections, you can sign up to be a monthly election board monitor with us through our LEAD program, which stands for Local Election Advocates and Defenders. We also just train you a lot on how the electoral process works in the state of Georgia. But most importantly, we need election observers right now, and you students are fantastic for that. We are going to be observing the polls during early vote weekends, so just Saturday and Sunday of early vote, election day, and then at the tabulation centers the night of election and the certification meetings post-election. And so you can sign up for those shifts. I have information already at a table out front, but you can also find the information on our website. And then of course, like, be a poll worker. I think it's great when students sign up to be poll workers. And it's always appreciated. I also just want to point out, as Jennifer so kindly said, there is a early vote location at Dahlberg Hall, October 18th and 19th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also, we have a super fun truck that's going to be coming around campus tomorrow and Thursday between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. each day. That's going to just like have information about the voting location at Dahlberg Hall. And if you guys find it, you take a picture, you post a picture with it, tag at ACLU of GA, and you could win a free t-shirt that I should have worn and modeled for you, but I didn't. But you could win a free shirt. We are even on TikTok now, which is big for us, so post us on any platform and you'll get a free shirt.
Hey y'all, buenas, buenas. My first name is Rosario, my last name is Palicios. So cool to be in a room with such youthful folks. It feels like it wasn't that long ago that I was on a college campus. I've actually been to Georgia State a number of times. I'm not a graduate from Georgia State, but I'm a big fan of Dr. Evans and the events that Dr. Evans puts on. So I'm with Common Cause Georgia. Has anyone here heard of Common Cause? Okay, I'm gonna pretend it's like a room full of Common Cause Georgia followers. We're like the influencer of democracy or something. But so Common Cause Georgia is a nonpartisan, pro-democracy organization. We work hard to advocate for electoral rights, to make sure it's accessible, to make sure elections are fair, all the beautiful things. And so in the state of Georgia right now, we're actually still recruiting for some paid poll monitors for Election Day and for our Democracy Squad. Our Democracy Squad does work at Board of Elections. We try to focus outside the Atlanta metro area. I know many of y'all commute from different places. I grew up in Gainesville, Georgia, the poultry capital of the world, and I became very politicized in my undergraduate years, so I can only imagine what these years are doing for y'all. But if you're interested, I set up a bit.ly, so bit.ly/GSU, all lowercase, 2024, and then the word join. GSU 2024, join. We love to have y'all. We're paying $30 an hour, flat rate for poll monitors. We're looking for folks on election day. We have the Democracy Squad as well at the same rate. And we just really want to make sure that our folks are engaged and we're promoting democracy in different ways. I won't talk about all the other cool stuff we do, like redistricting, but do get involved with us. You can look us up online, Common Cause Georgia. Again, I'm Rosario, and so happy to be here with y'all. Thank you.
Actually, as I step out on here, I do miss the days of being in college, so I would like to actually reapply. Hi, everybody. First of all, I'm Baoky, and before I get into a little bit about myself, I will say thank you for Mike Evans and the team for actually having a number of us here, because I think it's extremely important. First of all, to me, voter access and elections integrity are the cornerstones for a functioning, healthy democracy. And I speak from experience as having been actually a longtime Republican operative. I was actually a Bush Commission appointee, having been on a couple of state boards for Governor Deal and Kemp, and also having been a vice chair of the a Republican vice chair of the Board of Elections in DeKalb County. And that, the tenure went from, from the ability to work together towards, for the past 4 to 6 years, certainly, challenges in terms of questions about the integrity of the process and voter suppression and so forth. And traditionally, in a different and more normal world, like Sarah Draper had mentioned, then Sarah and I would probably be able to disagree on policy, but still not have to face the rancor that we have been facing for the past 4 years. And starting also with the Elections Integrity Act of 2021, which really is not appropriately named. It basically was an attempt by people whom I've known for many years to try to rig the election. And that's the irony of all this, is I'm standing here in front of you as a quote-unquote traditional Republican. And yet I've seen the people try, whom I've known, try to literally take the ability for people to go out, register to vote, show up and vote. And try as much as they can to rig the election just because they needed to appease somebody at the top who could not stand the truth. And that's, I think, I want to speak to another issue, and that is the fact that we in this country are faced with this ongoing assault of misinformation that's being spread by social media, by very questionable sources. And my ask of you is that we continually try to find both sides, have multiple points of view in order to come to an agreement or come to a set of decisions based on facts. Because in this election itself, it has become a referendum on lies versus biases. You and I could be biased, and you and I may have disagreements in policy, but we should never propagate lies because it's destructive for the fabric of this country. So once again, I want to thank you for having me here. I will leave you with this one thought, and that is the fact that I come here, I've been outside of Saigon for the last 50 years. So 50 years ago, my country of South Vietnam, where I was born, fell to the communist North Vietnam. And for 50 years, they've not had a fair and free election. So I ask you to actually, give your effort in terms of preserving our democracy, but thank you very much.
I wish I had something to say about missing college, but I'm just a sophomore, so y'all will have to excuse me with that. But hi, everybody. My name is Rediet Mulugeta. I am currently the president of BridgeGSU. So Bridge is basically a multi-partisan political organization on campus where we try to do something similar to Braver Angels, which is have conversations in safe spaces. But what makes us unique is that we were an organization started by a college student, and it's specifically for college students. So what we try to do is we try to bring people with different political perspectives on college campuses together to have safe conversations. If you guys remember earlier, one of the presenters said that they were politicalized. Is that a word? I'm a rock with it. politicalized or like radicalized because they came to college, and this is one of the best spaces to have interesting, mentally stimulating political conversations, because you will run into a lot of people that don't agree with you and that you don't agree with. But it is important to learn to have respectful conversations. So that is basically what we try to do, what we try to facilitate. You guys can follow us on Instagram at BridgeGSU. We host a lot of events. And actually, this event was in collaboration with us and the political science department. So this is what we try to do. If you guys are interested in having these conversations with people our age, you know, conversations that are important to us, please join us. But thank you. Thank you, Dr. Evans.
Y'all give her another round of applause. All right. My name is John Taylor. We're going to do some lightning round stuff as we close out for the evening. Raise your hand if you are absolutely committed to voting. Don't raise your hand silently. Make some noise when you raise your hand. All right, can we have some honesty real quick? Raise your hand if voting is like the most important thing in the world to you. It's okay. No. It's okay if you didn't raise your hand, because the truth is we live in a country where folks don't really understand the value and importance, and that's okay because the initiative, that's what we do. We organize, we build power, we hit the streets, we talk to communities. Black Male Initiative is an organization that is focused on creating momentum and a material condition shift. We understand that people in our community don't always have the best resource, don't have the best education, don't have the best access, but what we do understand is that the initiative is all we need. Because when you have the initiative, you can start building and mobilizing a community that can take power and take control. When you have the initiative, you understand that you don't need 1 million people in the streets. You need a few 100,000 of the right people. Because in Georgia, our elections are determined on a municipal level by less than 1,000 votes. We understand that the difference between Kemp and Abrams came down to about 54,000 votes. See, the initiative, when you realize that what they are afraid of is an active group of folks that know how to take power, use power, and develop power for other folks. So every day we hit the streets talking about education, civic engagement, restorative justice, economic empowerment, black mental health and wellness. And we are rooted in anti-black racism because we are clear about the fact that no matter who you are, you afraid of us. You really don't want us. You really don't like us. Most of those laws you create are to subjugate us, because somewhere along the way, whether it is your guilt or it's your ancestral hate or it's your fear, we understand that you've done everything in your power to suppress, subjugate us. But we're clear about the fact that the initiative to change this country and make it what it should be. So we are not asking, we are not begging, we are not waiting. We are standing up and fighting, and we are taking the democracy that we need. So if you believe like we believe that the power is in the hands of the people, then remember at the end of the day, say it with them, y'all, the initiative. Thank you, everybody. Shout out to Community Change Action. Shout out to Georgia State. Shout out to our BMI partners. Shout out to everybody that put this on. And shout out to the students, whether you got extra credit or not. We need you in this space because it's your decision, it's your voice, it's your power that is going to change what this democracy looks like. Give yourselves a round of applause.